We're going live, Nick. Oh my god. Ah, we're
We
live.
also have this wet mask that's just like sitting here. I gotta move that.
Anyway,
Gross.
guys, hello. Welcome to the internet. It's your boy Brandon from Audio Addiction. We have the lovely Nick from Bouquet, and certainly not Elijah, because he
Yeah,
could have
fuck
been
him.
here. He could have been he could have been here. He
Yeah,
was talking all that game, in
yeah,
our
he's a coward.
group chat. He was talking all this game in our group chat here, but decided to not show up. So I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, actually, he just quit the band right now. So this is breaking news.
Breaking news. I'm sorry you had to hear about it on the live. But anyway, guys, we're here to talk about the lovely Bouquet record, which, by the way, not to shill any harder than I've already shilled for about the first 5 minutes of this, not even 5 minutes of this live sesh here, but, you could be really cool and get a Bouquet shirt. I'm pretty sure you still can. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have all the deets, but you could be like as averagely as cool as me and have the same shirt.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just saying.
yeah. We'll restock them soon. They'll be back
You
up on the
know,
site.
and then to all to all the homies that bought that sweatshirt, I hate you because I wanted one and they sold out way too fast and I'm poor. So thank you for buying all of them because God, I would have really loved one, but now I can't have it. So
Hey, I shouldn't. We'll probably reprint those now. Yeah.
I'm
So
big salt. I'm big salty, So if you actually don't reprint it, I feel like that'd be fine. But then I feel like if you do reprint it, it'll just continue my hate for like not getting it, And I think that's more important, honestly. But
I wanted the first batch. I don't care about the second batch. All right.
I don't like yeah, it's like people who complain about like like getting the secondhand Yeezys. That's how I'm feeling right now. Anyway, all joking aside, I put these guys as one of my favorite bands from last year. I don't know if Elijah shared that video with you, Nick, but I shilled super hard in that video because not only you guys are major homies, but also I genuinely love this record so much. I listen to this at least once a week since it's been released, and I feel like that's very hard. And I know I said it in the last live video, which I did yesterday, that it is hard for me to have a band on my like repeat list like for a
Yeah, I
month.
feel that.
So if you're like in that shit for like a couple months, that's how you know it's good. That has that staying power. So
Hell yeah.
gotta give you the props on that. I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to kind of delve more into the process by which you guys created this record. I guess for the people who are unfamiliar, you can go watch our interview that we did not too long ago. Well, it was long in terms of when it was released from now, but in like current timescape, it was released like last week. So
Yeah.
go check that out if you're unfamiliar with Bouquet in any capacity, because that was great and it gives you a lot of insight about the band. But for people who have the small attention span, Nick, tell people about Bouquet, where they can find you, and like little quick synapses about your band.
Yeah. So I mean, you can find us wherever you listen to music. We have a new, not new. It's out. It's been out for 6 months, but we have put out a record called Cardinal, which we'll talk about here in a second. And you can find us on Instagram, which is a band called Bouquet, and then the band Bouquet on Twitter, and then Facebook.com, the band Bouquet, and
Wow.
we got videos on YouTube. We're online.
We're here. We're out on the internet.
Yeah, I'm logged in.
you know, Nick just Twitch streams his life, so we're getting
Yeah.
a bird's eye view of Nick's life in this moment here. But
Yeah, I'm gonna do the Hot Ones challenge here in a
no,
second. It's gonna be
wait,
fucking
oh my
sick.
god,
I got Truth or Dab back there actually, so you got it
I also have it.
too.
Yeah.
Here, here, one second, one second. Yeah, well,
We'll just thumbnail it. This will be our. Oh my god. This is great. This is the truth, guys. Or dab. No pun intended. But here's the dab. I'm just gonna like low key place it here, like in the
I talk like about the record the entire time, but you don't stop holding this, right?
We're like totally not chilling, dog, but like, you know.
Sean Ivins, please see this.
Yeah, Sean, please invite us onto your show.
I know you've had Dave Grohl. Me next.
Yeah. You know, petition for Nick Booth on the next Hot Ones episode. All joking aside, like I said, I really enjoyed Cardinal, and I feel like I have a special place in my heart for this, just because I got to listen to a lot of these songs before they were all kind of put together, and Elijah and I have been good friends for a hot second, and obviously I didn't hear all of it, which is great because I feel like that maybe would have ruined my immersion a little bit, but I feel like to get little snippets of the entire like EP throughout the process, and like really just like he's like, oh man, like what do you think about this? Do you think we should do this or whatever? To me, that was really cool. Like anytime bands send me stuff, like when they're working on stuff in the studio or whatever, or like demos or something, I always take that with a point of pride, just because I feel like for myself, like not many people get that opportunity to just be like in that area, you know, or area of expertise, I guess. If I have expertise, I don't feel like I do, but I appreciate it. So I feel like this one definitely, much like records that I've, you know, been a part of in some capacity, I feel like this one, you know, this one definitely hit me a little closer to home, and I like that, just because getting to know like Nick more and getting to know, you know, all the guys a little bit more, and obviously Elijah more, I feel like was just a really cool experience. And so I feel like it made my opinion like the slightest bit biased about it, but also like that much more appreciative of it, just because, you know, I was able to just kind of like listen to things in that aspect. So salutes to you, Nick. I know you didn't do it, but I'm just gonna say, just in replace of Elijah, I appreciate it. So we're gonna get into it. I gotta somehow get out of this screen here because I'm an idiot and decided, oh, okay, I could do it. There we go. So anyway, we're gonna take a listen to the first track, which is Peony. Very stoked to listen to this, guys. If you have not checked out Bouquet, again, you know, listen. You're here. Nick's here. Nick knows if you've listened to it or not. You know, no shilling.
Sees you when you're sleeping.
He sees you when you're sleeping. So
I don't. I don't do that. I got.
That's a little concerning. You know, we're gonna have to cut that out.
Yeah.
Post Brandon's on the case, but anyway, guys, we're gonna take a listen to the first track, which is Peony. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, you know what I should do? Probably, I didn't even realize this. Before I did anything, I realized that I didn't even share the screen.
Oh.
How are they gonna know? They're not. Now they know. All right, here we go. If I can get it right this time. All right. I swear to God, we're actually gonna do it this time. So get ready. 3, 2, 1. Just let me know if you can hear it, Nick, or not.
Another cut so swing, I'll tell it, wait until they cut.
All right, guys, that was Peony. Great opener. Um, Nick, I'm pretty sure you could hear that. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I can do
great.
it.
Um, I I think this. I don't know. If this was the first one that I don't think Elijah had sent me this one. This was just kind of like, if I remember correctly, um, he had sent me. I think Glisten was the first one he sent to me. Um, but I really enjoyed this just because I feel like being, like again, you guys, I've were just like really doing shit on Dreambound. Shouts to them. They always got like some really great musicians on there, and I found some like insanely great bands, because of that. But um, I feel like this song definitely sets up the record in just a really nice way. I think I've always been a fan of intro tracks. I know some people are just like, just get me into that shit. You know what I mean? Just get me into the action. But um, I like when there's kind of like purpose to it, and I think that was really what drew me to enjoying. Like obviously I'd listened to some of the stuff in some sort of demo capacity, but to kind of listen to it, you know, fully mixed and mastered and all that sort of stuff, and like really listen to it like from front to back. Um, I think I really enjoyed this an absolute ton. And vocally super solid. I love just like the way that just the way that your voice sits, Nick, in this track. I think just whoever did the mix and mastering on it did a really good job of just like, accentuating that part of the song. Um but again, I really enjoyed the whole vibe of this one. Um did this change a lot from like the demo version to now, or was it
No,
pretty kind of cut and dry?
yeah. So this song was actually like the last thing that we wrote for the EP. So
Mm-hmm.
we actually didn't even get the chance to all the other songs like we kind of jammed out to write. But Elijah just came with the idea of this one, and we did. I don't even think we got to practice it. If we did, it might have been like once. So we really just kind of like did that in the studio. And it was the same thing with the lyrics too. Like I wrote those like while we were there, just kind of reflecting on the EP.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, this one is definitely the most kind of cut and dry from everything we had on the record.
And then like lyrically, I guess what direction were you kind of going in? I know some of them, we'll obviously get into a lot of the other songs. I don't want to, I don't want to spoil anything, but um, I guess like lyrically, what were you delving into? I guess I don't know if there was like a theme for the EP in and of itself. Obviously, you be the person to ask. Um, so, you know, was there any theming going on, or was it mostly like, taking it kind of track by track and then, allowing the story to be told that way?
Yeah, so like for the record as a whole, I mean, was kind of track by track. We wrote them over like a few month period of time.
Mm-hmm.
This song, like Peony specifically, I wanted to kind of encapsulate kind of the feeling of the rest of the EP, and
Mm-hmm.
it like the EP is named Cardinal. My grandpa passed away, and that's what one of the songs we'll talk about later, a song called Southpaw, is about. And my mom kind of like had this symbolism of anytime she would see a cardinal, it was like him coming back to like we for like months had this cardinal that would just come to like our tree in our backyard like every
Oh,
single
wow.
day. So she would say like that was our grandpa, and like that was our cardinal. So I kind of referenced that in it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I like reference it later in the EP too, but um, one of like my favorite feelings in the world, which is it's really specific, but like and kind of a niche thing, but like I just like I referenced it a couple times on the EP, but having like a breeze and like wind hit me is like a really nice thing that makes me feel a lot of comfort.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I wanted Peony to kind of be like throughout all of the heavy topics that are on the EP. I was still finding myself after all of that, like finding comfort in something.
Mm-hmm.
And like the lyrics we wrote while we were in the studio, and literally like the day that I was writing it, like we were walking in, I had my coffee, and like I felt like the wind hitting me, and that was like sparked some of the lines in that, and I kind of just went from there. And then yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I just wanted it to kind of represent the rest of the album, and then like vocally, I just thought the song was pretty. I didn't really want to mess with it too much, so I just wanted to have these big, like, kind of simple, like soaring vocals in it, like when the clean parts come in.
Yeah.
Um, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
It kind of feels reminiscent, at least to me, of um, like Being as an Ocean, kind of like Hotel Books,
Mhm.
that sort of spoken word stuff. Even I know Garrett from Silent Planet definitely does a lot of that.
Mhm.
In terms of like lyricism and like writing, is there any like vocalists that you can think of offhand that you were inspired by as like just kind of like, man, this person, like, because there's, I feel like when you write like spoken word esque lyrics, like I feel like for
Mhm.
me, like there's a specific niche of people that like you're like, man, like when I think about that, that's those were the people that I think about, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah, I like I grew up like in high school and stuff. I did like I would do slam poetry shows and stuff, so it's always been
ah,
something I've kind of done. And I had a past band, the band I was in before this, like we was very heavy on that.
mm-hmm.
La Dispute is like one of my favorite bands of all time. So that like
That would make
Jordan
sense.
is like one of my biggest inspirations with writing in general. There's a poet that I grew up listening to a lot called Levi the Poet.
Yep.
Was very into him. And then like Touche Amore was a big thing. So that niche of things was definitely prevalent for me. So, but yeah, I mean, there's so many like there's like folk artists like Noah Gunderson. I love
Yep.
his lyricism a lot. Rustin Kelly. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to see those types of like influences because I feel like in this space it's, I don't want to say it's like not popular, but I feel like there's a certain crowd it attracts, you know, like
Yeah.
there's people that are like into it, and then there's people that are like myself that are kind of like it's cool, but like isn't particularly in my lane, but I like appreciate it, you know, for like
Sure.
the all encompassing like, okay, like I know you do singing, I know you do screaming, and then just kind of having that extra layer of like, oh wow, like there's some depth to like the lyricism. Not to say that there wasn't anyway,
Yeah.
but like it's cool to hear, I guess, like the expansiveness of your talent as like a vocalist from doing all those sorts of things, because I feel like
Mhm.
they all require a certain thing. You know what I mean? Like singing, you're like, man, like there's got to be some sort of like emotional thing. Same with like screaming, there's got to be some sort of emotional aspect to it.
Mhm.
But like with spoken words, like I feel like it has to hit you like in the chest, right? Like
Yeah.
that type of stuff is like more lyric based, where you're like, holy shit, I just listened to Nick, you know, say something that like hit with me directly
Yeah.
as like a lyric part.
Yeah.
Um, so I felt like for me, not really being, I guess, as invested in that sort of style,
Mhm.
I found myself really enjoying the way that you kind of put it together, you know, throughout this EP. Like it didn't seem forced, you know, like sometimes you like listen to a track and you're like, this seems a little like, you know, this seems a little
Yeah.
like, that seems a little bit like, oh, we put that in there just because we could put that in there, you
Yeah.
know, like it feels like it fits very well. And for like an EP that rounds out at about a little over 15 minutes, I think that just hits really well. So guys, we're in track number 1, Peony. Very stoked to listen to the next track, which is Tire Swing, and this one features Kayak Jones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, baby. So let's get into it in 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, and that was Tire Swing. Really enjoyed that one. I mean, much like I enjoyed most of the EP, I'm Not Afraid to Show. I loved it. Again, I've already talked about this band a ton on this channel, so I feel like everybody knows my love for this band so much as I burp into the microphone. I was really surprised, honestly, I was really surprised that you guys got Kayak Jones on this, because I was like, and I have to know the story behind this, because that was what really, I was like, holy shit, they got Kayak Jones on this track? That's kind of sick. So,
Yeah.
Nick, no pun intended, or rhyme scheme here going on, but how did that come to be? And I'm curious, like, in terms of time frame, did you just like hit them up and you're like, hey, so we got this track, it would be really sick if you guys were like on it, just saying,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So like my old band Avoid, like started around the same time that Kayak did, and they're from like they live like an hour away from me, so
Oh,
we
dope.
just kind of played shows together and stuff. And then like in 2019, I toured with them, like on
Oh.
a with Home Safe and Young Culture and Keep Flying. I did a tour with them, and then I became really really good friends with them. And like he's like one of my best friends in the world, so I literally was just like, hey, do this. He usually hates doing guest parts. Oh, but he was like, yeah, I guess I'll fucking do it for you. No, he was really nice about it. But yeah, we literally just I'm trying to remember the time frame. We recorded in April of last year. I think I sent it to him in like January or February. And then I was just like told him kind of what the song was about, and I was like, you are very good at what you do. I'm not gonna write a part for you. Just
Just
and
do
yeah,
your
he killed
thing.
it. Yeah, he
Yeah,
killed it. So
I agree. Like something that surprised me was having his feature. Like, he's got such a unique voice that
Mhm.
I'm like, like immediately when I played it, I was like, holy shit, this is Kayak Jones. That's dope. Like,
Yeah.
like it was just kind of like an ethereal thing, but like I really enjoyed like kind of the instrumentation. I just feel like you guys just really nail home that sort of like, I don't even know if it's like kind of like intentional, but like that kind of hard, like melodic, like post hardcore kind of elements to your style. Like, it's something that to me, like it all just I just find so much enjoyment out of just like listening to the songs. Like I go
Yeah.
back and listen to them. I'm like, damn, this is so catchy. Like how is it so like? But then I'm like get into the lyrics and I'm like, damn, this is rough shit. You know what I mean? Like, but then it makes you want to listen to it more. And I don't
Mm.
know if it's like a masochist sort of thing, but like, like it's. I think you guys just have a way of like making it seem appealing to just kind of continue to listen to, and like I feel like every time that I listen to this EP, there's like things that I pick out that I didn't pick out from like the last time, and um and I'm almost positive, I'm pretty sure I messaged Elijah and said like, yeah, there's a shit like I didn't even realize, and then I go back and listen to it again, I'm like, oh, there's more shit I didn't know existed there.
Yeah, we got
um
layers.
layers on layers, you know what I mean? You're like a cake. um but I feel like the whole vibe and like just the way that I just love the way that like your vocals kind of just cut through all these songs. Like it just is like a fucking razor blade. You know what I mean? Like it is so sharp, and I really enjoy that aspect of it because I think it just makes like the instrumentations that much stronger. I think Keller did a fantastic job on the
Dude,
drumming.
I was gonna say, like, as we were listening to that song, I was trying to not do it as much,
Oh,
but
I do it all the time. I'm like
I
in
was
my
like,
car. I'm in my car. I'm like this.
Keller
You know what I
is
mean?
Keller in this song specifically to me has like it like is the most air drummable song
Oh,
to me that I've had. Like, especially that end part. He has like this drum roll,
yeah.
like that thing. I was like, I can't do it. Like I do it live, and I feel like a dumbass as
I
I'm like
listen. You shouldn't feel like a
moving my
dumbass because
hands down.
I am like an absolute maniac when it comes to like air drumming in their car. Like people probably think I have like Tourette's or something, but I don't. I assure you, people that live in the Pennsylvania area. But um, yeah, I just feel like there's just like I said earlier, there's just an infectious quality to like what you guys do, and I think it's just for people who haven't checked you guys out, like honestly, that's what I tell people. Like I'm like this stuff, like even if you're not really a fan of this type of music, like it's hard to say that it's not infectious in any sort of way because I feel like the melodies really just kind of like take it.
Yo,
I could understand about maybe like the screaming aspect of it because I feel like that's a if you're not in it, you ain't in it. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
like, um, I feel like there's a lot of good things for like people who like again we're gonna get into Glisten, but like that one's a little bit more in the I would say like I could show this to somebody that isn't a fan of screaming, but
yeah.
like could be converted per se. So I think that's what really is unique to me is that like throughout the entire EP there's just something, there's like little trinkets of things that just make it like more appealing to me, and I think it also makes it more appealing for me to share it to other people because you know there is something about it that's just like, okay, yeah, like if you're not into aggressive music, this is a good kind of gateway band that I feel like
Yeah.
could get you started in that down that path.
Yeah, yeah, that means a lot. That's like we wanted to have we were like afraid of it a little bit because we didn't know if all the songs would kind of make sense together.
Sure, yeah.
But I was like, dude, they're all good, so I'm not we're gonna put them out. It's our first record. Like we want to figure out, what works and what doesn't. So uh yeah, I'm really happy that there's that's kind of been the reaction from a lot of people has been like I'm not necessarily into like screaming and stuff like that all the time. So I think, songs like Listen and Seed are like
Mm-hmm.
cool. Like you can maybe we'll get you into it. And even with Tire Swing, like it's not like like Max isn't really into heavy music, our bassist,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
like I think that's something he said when we were recording was like you do it like in a way that there is like still melody and like stuff something in it. So it's not like we're not taking you from like, Glisten to like a deathcore part or anything like that. It's just like an elevated
You're not like
it's not as
you're
big
not
of a
like a
switch. Like
reflections track. You know what I mean? Like just
yeah,
like
yeah,
like
yeah,
like
yeah,
where someone's gonna be like, "Are you gonna like? Are we having an exorcism now?" Like
yeah.
like I got you. Like I
And
do I do feel that.
yeah, and I like that. Yeah, and my whole goal, like as writing vocals, was that I wanted to have things be catchy,
Mm-hmm.
while still being kind of lyrically like rich lyrically and dense in some parts. But yeah, I really just focused on like how it would sound first and then figured out kind of like the lyrics after, which is not always how I've written in within my life, but
Well,
I think it worked out.
funnily enough, on that topic, Nick, like lyrically, what does Tire Swing delve into? Um, I feel like it's definitely a hard hitter right after like Peony. Like you're just like,
hmm
man, this is so like lush. I like it. And
Yeah.
then Tire Swing's like, yo, so like I heard you like lush shit, but like harder. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, like Tire Swing is kind of the most like hopeless and like angry song of any of them, I would say.
I would agree. Yeah,
Yeah, I was really upset just that like as everybody was. Like we wrote this song, I think it was like in the fall of 2020. But I was just really upset with like the world, and how everything was going, and I felt like I I don't consider like myself a Christian or anything like that anymore. But I did growing up, and I was I had the thought of that like if there was somebody like some being out there, I kind of felt like they just gave up, or that they
I
were
feel.
like
Yeah,
mad at us for something, and that's literally is it's a pretty literal chorus. I've had some people ask me if it's like
metaphoric.
about I don't know, like yeah, like metaphor. It's like is this about like a relationship with somebody? And I was like, no, it's literally about like I think feel like God abandoned, me and a lot of people, and like that's kind of what it is. And I mean, I'm happy if people interpret it however they want. But yeah, I was mad, so
No,
that's what I did,
I
and Tyler killed his part on that too, like fit in perfectly with it.
and I think the thing, like, I'm glad you mentioned it because I think about it now, and I'm like listening to, like, obviously we listened through to it, and I have a chance to like dissect it, and I'm like, man, I didn't really think about it that way, but now that you say it, like, I'm like, oh shit, now it all's like coming together, and I feel more of a camaraderie to this track now than I did before, just because like I'm kind of similar, out in the same boat as you. I grew up very like religious, and my parents are still religious, but like I'm not really as religious, and so um I found a lot of like cross pollination to my life, and I was like, man, I'm like, I'm not angry anymore, but man, I can feel like the angry energy, because like
Yeah.
I've definitely been in that spot before for like a good bit,
Mhm.
and I've gotten over it now just because I'm like an adult, like you move
Yeah.
on from that shit. But yeah, I felt a lot of like camaraderie with this track now. I like all of that emotion is kind of like rushing through. Um but yeah, I didn't even really put those two things together. Now that you've very eloquently pointed out that that's what it's about, now
Yeah.
I understand. So,
Yeah. It's something too I've had to like answer some questions on a little bit too, because I've had some people be like who did like ask me if it was about that, and they're like, "Oh, do you hate Christians?" And I was like, "No, it's not like I'm not like mad at anybody." It's like
like
I
I hate them, like
yeah, and it's not like I spend every day. I'm just like, God, dude, I'm pissed at God, dude. And
and
just like,
Christians, yeah, like
yeah, dude, like I
you
hate
have like a
you.
dartboard with like a bunch of Christian people on it,
Yeah,
and you just
yeah.
you just throw a dart. You're like, man, I hope I land on someone. You know?
But like, but yeah, it was just I it was just on my mind, and I was I was just upset, I felt like I'd sometimes like people will kind of use their um belief to ignore certain things and
Yeah,
push certain agendas of things and look the other way. And I was getting frustrated with that, and that's all Tire Swing's about, pretty much.
no, like I said, I find a lot of similarities, and I'm sure we're probably gonna have a major talk about it after this is over with.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, I do. It's crazy. Like, and I'll leave it at this, and we can move it on to Glisten because I'm not trying to bring the mood down. But
No, yeah.
um, it's strangely what I've found is there's a lot more people that are in the boat that we're in that are in this music scene, and that's a little concerning. I would think more so for people who are of religious value for all of us to all kind of come to the same conclusion and band together in some sort of like camaraderie sort of way.
Uh,
Um, you know, I don't want to infer anything, but maybe something should be fixed if like a large populace of people all feel kind of
yeah.
collectively the same way
Yeah, you
about
know.
certain
Hmm.
issues. I'm just saying a few things, on my mind, internet, but
Much
um,
to think about.
much too, yeah. Why would you say something so controversial yet so
Oh yeah,
true?
it's sober.
Oh, but anyway, well, that is a topic for another time, I'm sure. But um, other than that, Tire Swing slaps. If you
Thank
ain't
you.
listened to it,
Yeah, this
you a
shit bops,
you a
dude.
damn fool. But go check this out. We're gonna move it on to track number. Oh wait, well, before we move it on to track number 3, was Tire Swing mostly the way that we hear it on the record, or did it go through a lot of kind of changes and like, like revisions, as they say?
Yeah, so tire swing, like again, like if Elijah was here, he would definitely be able to break it down a little bit more, some of the instrumental changes. But like I know
Elijah.
guitar leads changed a couple times. And I know Keller's parts. Keller is like an amazing drummer, but also like one of the most meticulous people. So he is like
I feel.
constantly like, no, dude, like I missed this 16th note in here. I gotta like fucking add that in. So like I'm sure he changes stuff like 10 times that I didn't even know what the difference was because I was like the rhythm's the same. I'm good.
It sounds good.
Um, yeah, I open my mouth, go off. This is crazy. But yeah, yeah. I know for sure, yeah, guitar leads changed. I don't remember it being like most of the songs, to be honest, on this EP weren't like super crazily. Like we added stuff in the studio. There's a couple layers that like Andre, our producer, added, and some interlude stuff. You'll probably see little sounds
Yeah.
and stuff later on the record. But the big thing I remember changing was we had a different guitar lead that was very like counterparts like metalcore, which I thought was sick, but I just didn't think
Fit
it
the
fit
mood.
for the vibe I was going for this one. So yeah,
It didn't pass the
but
vibe check,
yeah, it passed. Like I was like, this is sick,
but not for this
but
song.
also fuck you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But fuck
Yeah.
you, Jared. Yeah.
Well, I would love to hear that version of it, but I don't think that will. I don't think that will see the light of day unless somebody wants to send it to a particular, like, DM for me to like, partake in said demo song.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Theoretically, I could have my crew contact your crew.
Okay.
Um, I made that so fucking weird. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. I'm all about it. You know me, Nick. I'm all about the weird shit. But anyway, also that came out terribly wrong. Anyway, we're gonna completely just gloss over what I just said here, and we're gonna move into track number 3, which is "Glisten." So, guys, get ready. In 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, that was Glisten. Um, the first single, I believe, if I'm
Mhm.
not mistaken.
Yep.
If I got the info correct. This one I love. I still love this one. This one's, I would say, arguably my favorite one. I know it's
It's the hit.
it's the ones that the kids say is the lightest track on the record, but I really enjoyed. I think the thing that really surprised me the most, um, just not really knowing, obviously, about Nick's background as a vocalist. I was just like, hot damn, this guy can sing real good. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, the cleans are really well done. It reminds me a lot of movements. This song specifically, I would say, definitely gives me that movements esque feel to it, which I love because Movements is one of my favorite bands.
Incredible band.
Incredible band. And so this one definitely took those vibes a little bit. I'd say a little bit of Holding Absence in there, but just more so, I guess, in the sort of ethereal aspects of the song, like the more like guitar, reverb driven stuff. Really enjoyed it, but I just feel like it has this really just great like atmosphere and vibe to it, that I think is just, again, I think I told Elijah this. It just has this sort of like earworm quality to it where you're just like, holy shit, like I'm gonna be like vibing out to this song all day, every day. Like I remember listening to this song way too many more times than I'd like to admit on this stream. Um, and it was just incredible. So like for me, this was a home run. Um, you know,
Thank you.
what's your take on it, Nick?
Yeah, so I think this is the worst song on our EP, and no, I'm just fucking with you. Uh, no, I this song is like I think it's probably, in my opinion, like our best like full effort structured
Mm-hmm.
song on the record.
I would
It
argue
was
that too.
something, yeah, and it's funny enough because like it's the song we spent the least time writing. We legitimately wrote all of this in one practice, like most of it was in 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and then we kind of edited, like figured out little stuff to tinker with here and there, but um, yeah, this like the song Elijah did a really really good job with making it sort of like soundscapey in a
Yeah.
way, and yeah, like the reverb is very present there. It feels like it's not like it's like parts of it are like I guess like little downtrodden away, but for the most part it's not like I a like depressing sounding song. It's just like a little, yeah, I guess like ethereal is a good word for it, and kind of just like brushed away in a bit, but
It's very
yeah,
vibey.
yeah, very vibey. And yeah, and then like I appreciate the compliment on my vocals. This was like the first time that I was actually singing in a band, so I was pretty nervous how that would go. But yeah, we got the mixes back, and I was like, oh, I think I can do this a little bit. And yeah, I was really excited about how it turned out. And once we wrote it, like during the practice, I was like, yeah, like we should do this as the first song. So we recorded this before we recorded the EP because I just was like, this is sick. Let's put this out.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
It
also
just
put it on the record.
it
But
just yeah, let's double
yeah,
up.
yeah.
I kind of attribute this song to kind of a warm blanket. You know what I mean? Like it's got that very like, I don't think I've ever described this song like this, but it has a very like nurtured feel to it where I'm just like, man, like, the vocals really just sit super well, and then just like with the whole like kind of like ethereal vibey nature, you're just like, man, I could like just like just sit outside and like fucking like watch the stars go by. I know it sounds very cheesy and cheese
No,
ballish.
that's an amazing compliment. I've done that to so many songs. So if that is like able, if I'm able to like do that for you, that is a wonderful feeling because a lot of my favorite artists I've spent time doing that with. So
It's yeah, it's kind of which is ironic just cuz like the music video is so like in that headspace too.
mhm.
So it just I feel like, just the lyricism matched with like the vocals just really hit well. I guess lyrically, Nick, where do you draw from in this song? Also, I do want to apologize to the viewers here. If you hear me coughing, it's because I have a fucking cough that I've had for like 2 or 3 weeks now. It's not COVID. I want to assure everybody that I'm somewhat healthy. But if you hear me coughing and also eating a cough drop, that's where it's coming from. So I'll let Nick talk so I can fucking eat this cough drop.
Yeah, so Glisten is about essentially about a relationship I was in for a long time that was pretty unhealthy mutually. And uh, I've been in a relationship now for a couple years that I tried to change a lot of how I was within new relationships. I was very codependent, and that's kind of where the inspiration from the song was.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of reflecting on a lot of the like things I've been through within those experiences, and um, I guess there's a lot of like really. It's a weird feeling to like believe you love somebody and then also have it like be tearing you apart at the same time, and that's kind of where the idea came from.
Mm-hmm.
But in to kind of counteract that in a way though, like a lot of my writing that I've had throughout my life is super dense lyrically, and like there's a lot of words, so I didn't want it to be like a direct like in your face song. So like the verses I tried to keep kind of like vague, I guess, in a way, or
I
like a
got
little
you.
more
Yeah.
abstract and just kind of do it that way. And I was really happy with how it turned out. I was pleased that I like didn't force myself to like say too much in a way, um, and kind of have a little more up to interpretation. But yeah, like the song is, I mean, the chorus is pretty straight up, but
Yeah.
like there's a lot of lyrics I'm really really proud in this one, and especially like the bridge section. Uh, like the juxtapose my wish for death with the fear of it. I was pretty stoked on that line, to be honest.
That's a fire.
But
That's a fire
yeah,
line. Not gonna lie. Not
but
gonna lie.
yeah,
I like looked at the lyrics. I was like, ooh, Nick bringing the heat lyrically. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, that's kind of like a fadeaway three jumper, last minute. I was like,
Ice water in
God.
my veins, dude.
I was like, man, he's got ice in his veins. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, God damn. But no, for real. I was like, some of the lyrics, I'm just like, not to jump topic, but like, I'm like, holy shit. Like, he's got some shit. He's got some heat.
Yeah, yeah. And I was just kind of like, I became a really unhealthy person in that relationship. Not to like dive too deep into my personal life, but it is relate to the
Oh,
record.
tell us
But
more, Nick. No kidding.
yeah, but like, yeah, it was just unhealthy. I was relying on like somebody else's ups and downs would, create how I was feeling up and down, and like get relied really heavily on alcohol, and I would like kind of figured that was the only time I felt like I was being like genuine a lot of times, and that's a really messed up feeling to have. So I've changed a lot of things in my life since then, and kind of wrote this song in a way to like remind myself that like, don't fall back into that, and hopefully that's kind of what somebody can get out of it. Is like, yeah, just like be good to yourself and like be honest with yourself.
I'm gonna hold you down accountable. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna send you this part in the like in our live session here, and just be like, listen, Nick, if you ever get to that spot again, I'm sending you that clip. You know, but
Don't fuck
no,
up.
don't fuck up. But no, I appreciate the honesty. Like, I feel like sometimes like vocalists, I feel like sometimes vocalists, at least from my opinion, as listening to music for as long as I have, um, I feel like sometimes vocalists skirt around the issues a little bit, like it's a little bit of wordplay, which
Mhm.
again isn't a bad thing. I think it's definitely, necessary to kind of carve out, um, your way of thinking about it without being so direct, because
Mhm.
there are some bands that I'm like, man, you really, you know, you're about this close to like saying the actual truth, right?
Yeah.
Um, but then there's also bands that are like all the way out here, and the truth's like completely mismanaged, right?
Yeah.
I feel like when a band, or I would say more so a lyricist, kind of thinks about like, okay, well, I want it to be truthful so like people understand, how that person, how the person feels in that spot, right? But not to be so truthful to the point where you're like telling someone exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I think that's a great thing, and for people to kind of interpret it maybe in a different way, even so too, is really a good thing.
Mhm.
And I think it just makes I think that's just what makes a really good kind of lyric pattern too. And I felt like
Yeah.
with Glisten, not that I already had a lot of love for this track anyway, but I think lyrically I really enjoyed this one the most too. Which I'll be honest, I don't usually check lyrics, but this one just kind of like I was like, ooh, I feel this one in my heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, I listen to this one, but
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one a ton. I think this one, as much as I love the entire EP, I think this one is just gonna be like S plus plus tier. You know what I mean? Like it's like if God had a God tier. That's what I realized is like, man, I love this song so much. Also, big shouts to Elijah. He finally answered me back. He said, "My bad, I'm at work." But
Oh, word.
it be like that. So, big shouts to Elijah. We totally did not roast you at all.
Yeah, Elijah. Yeah, you're. I would never say anything
We
about
would
you
never say
at
anything
all.
horrible. Why
Come
would we
on.
do that? Why would we
He
put
as an
ourselves such a risk on live YouTube?
as a
Incriminate.
C-list niche internet micro celebrity, Elijah, I would never roast you, dude.
As the underbelly of Vsauce Michael, I would never say those sorts of things. Um, you know, an Anthony Fantano fanboy, I would never say those things about you or your band or anything like that. Why would I do that?
It's the top 0.05% listener to Rustin Kelly, dude. I would not do you like that, okay?
As the top 0.0001% of Bouquet
Just keep it.
listeners, I would never say those things about you and your band. Why would I do that? Never. Never do that. But anyway, guys, if you're completely unreasonable and don't listen to this band or this song, I'm going to be a little upset. So, this one, again, 27 fire emojis. Love this track to death. This is a ride. This is my ride or die, honestly. This is
Dude,
it. This is the one.
it is like, yeah, I think it's like definitely I think the whole, proud of the whole EP, but this to me is, yeah, definitely like the song in a way, and
The
it's like the one I
penultimate.
wanted to push them.
The
Yeah,
penultimate track. So, guys, if there's anything you can take away from this entire live track by track, is that you need to listen to Glisten. That's the bop.
that's
Not
the
that all
one.
the other ones aren't bops, but this is a certified bop coming from both Nick and I, micro niche music connoisseurs. So, oh, I forgot to add celebrity in there, but yes, we're gonna moving on.
Famous,
Famous, yeah, famous celebrity.
famous hard,
It's whatever. They get the gist. We're moving to track number 4, which is Seed. I believe this was the second single. I know this
Yep.
came out before Southpaw. Um, let's get into it, guys. In 3, 2, 1. Guys, that was Seed. I'm just gonna say how much I low key love this track still. Again, keeping on the train of how much I love it, but like listening to it again right after Glisten, I'm like, God, this is just smooth, smooth like butter, as BTS says, my brothers. But um I think
Yeah, I love that
honestly,
song.
yes, that's a fire track.
Sorry, that's gonna
But
be stuck in my head.
I will say, like, at least for me, like, listening to this song and just, like, again, knowing that, especially now, since we're talking, and um, you saying, like, how you weren't really comfortable with, like, singing at first, I would have never fucking pegged that, right? Like, I'm listening to Seed. We already listened to Glisten. I would have never guessed. You're like, man, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know about that whole singing
Yeah,
thing. I don't know about that shit.
yeah,
I would have never guessed that, honestly. And that's not me trying to shill or bullshit or anything. Like, I would have never guessed that. I would have been like, man, Nick's been singing for a long time. Good for him. He'd be doing that shit.
yeah. That's the thing is like I've sang for a while, but I just like I it took me a long time to like know what I was doing, so I just have like a constant self-doubt, I think, with it that I'm
Sure.
like, man, like this isn't good, and it's like a thing I have to talk about the band with like somewhat often, to be honest. Like it's getting better. I'm trying to like have better self-talk about it, I guess, but like yeah, just I'm like I'm very bad about like comparing myself to about how like other people sing, and I'm like I don't sound
Sure.
like that, and they're good, so that means I'm not good because it's different, and like, but yeah, I just listen to that. That's not, yeah, I killed it on that,
Honestly,
but
I'm just trying to be a hype man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, 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 thank
I'll
you,
come
thank you.
out to the Bouquet shows and just be like, you got it, Nick. You know what I mean? Just say that shit. You know,
You're doing great, sweetie.
yeah, I love you. Like, I'll just say that. I'll just honestly, before you hop on stage, I'll just have Elijah video call me, and I'll just say, "You're doing a great job, baby. I love you." You know. And then
But
every time there's like a break in the show, like I'll just be like, "That was beautiful, babe. Loved it." Mwah, just do that shit. I'll just have like pre-recorded stuff, so every time you finish a song on stage,
hell yeah, we'll use
I'll
your
just have
voice
him
as
just,
interludes.
yeah, I'll just have him just like, beautiful stuff, baby, love it,
We got it
mwah.
backtracked.
Yeah,
Hell
so
yeah.
and that they're like, who is this guy saying this shit? Where is he coming from? And then they'll have to come back to this video. Wow. But I legitimately, and no joke, like, I'm like, man, Nick could sing me to sleep. I'd be about that. Like, I'm all on board with that train.
Hell
And
yeah.
I felt like with this song particularly, like, as much as I love Glisten, I felt like your vocal work somehow like improved exponentially. Like, I'm
Mm.
just like, I like, even listening to it now, like hearing some of like the vocal layers and stuff, I'm just like, man, he knows what he's doing. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand why. Like, in my head, like, as you were saying that and I was listening to this, I was just like, I don't know how he doesn't believe in himself. I'm like, this shit's fire as shit. Like, I'd be crying myself to sleep every night if I knew I could sing like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the song was definitely uh listen is like really cool in that way, but like Seed was definitely in my like I guess pocket as a vocalist, and like um the like kind of lower like yeah I guess like breathier sort of thing like I love doing a lot the kind of like smooth vocal, and like the sort of middle section of the song. There's some harmonies that Elijah did too, and he absolutely killed those.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I after re-listening to it right now with you, I haven't honestly listened like to the song a little bit, but yeah, that was like uh probably my best clean vocal performance on the record, I would say. And like the ending part, I guess the chorus of the song was like, yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. Listening back to that sounds pretty sick.
Yeah,
And
no, I
the
gotta
call
give
and
you the
response stuff and all that, yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
I gotta give you the props for it, because like, I feel like I do. I mean, no offense to Elijah, I do give him the props too, but he's not here, so I don't give him all the props. I only give him like half the props. Nah, I'm just kidding. I play. I love you too, Elijah, but like, um, I felt like just, and I think I even talked to him about this. I remember like having a conversation. And I was just like, I'm like, why don't you just fucking sing on the EP? Because I was just like, I know you're a good vocalist, so I was just like, why don't you guys just like, like tag team that shit like WWE? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
No, Now listen, my rhymes are on point tonight. I was gonna say, but um,
Bars.
I bars. Listen, I'm Eminem out here, Asian Eminem, but I was like, it's just I think this one threw me the most. Like as much as like Glisten, as much as I think it's like certified bop. I feel like Seed's very close to in my heart as well, just because I feel like vocally all of you guys are like on high energy. You know what I mean? You guys are hitting those like really solid notes. I think like instrumentally, it just really pairs well with like both you and Elijah's vocals, and being a 2-minute track, like, and just having sort of that like encapsulating nature. I'm almost like, when I get to the end of that 2 minutes, I'm like, man, I wish it was just like this smidge bit
Yeah.
longer, like
Yeah.
so I could enjoy it more.
We've we've like talked about that a lot because we've had some comments when we put it out where people are like, "This is too short," but like yeah, I think we brainstormed making it a little bit longer, and it was just like nothing really fits, or like like we'd rather have people like come back wanting a little more than like just throwing a
Giving
part
them
in
too
there to
much.
like have be a
Yeah.
part. Yeah. So yeah, it's the best 2 minute song I've written and been a part of in my life. So
I'd hard to argue that, along with again, Glisten being a 4.5 minute track. You guys are really making it work for the time frame. Um, but yeah, lyrically, Nick, what does Seed talk about? I feel like there is some lyrical depth you can all give
yeah,
us.
definitely. Yeah, so this song, like first and foremost, I guess, is kind of bouncing off of Glisten a little bit. I was I do a lot of like self-reflection, which is probably good, I think.
That is good.
But
Yes.
like okay, just making sure. My therapist says it's supposed to be good, so I will be fine.
I'm gonna agree with
But
them.
but like I was kind of reflecting on I was starting to feel like similar patterns like within like my own train of thought in relationships with people, and I was kind of getting bummed out about it. And I felt like in certain ways I was letting my kind of anxieties and like fears and bad experiences ruin the present moment, and
Hmm.
I struggle a lot with dissociating. Is a really big thing. Um, so like I'll go for days or weeks at a time without like feeling like I'm like in the present moment, or I'm always kind of outside of myself in a way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the song's about, I put it pretty straightforward, like in the, the end part there. I'm 23, can't feel anything most days. I don't know who I am anyway. Uh, but
Bars.
like, yeah, I was just like, I lived in the same place. I was talking to you about it, I guess, before. Like, I'm moving into a place with my partner coming up, but
Woo.
I was just like literally laying in bed, and I was like, man, I've been here for the last like 5 years, and like I had these experiences and I'm feeling them again, and I'm like I just feel stuck, and like I don't like that. I was having these like patterns of thought that I wasn't able to kind of get over, and like even with going to therapy, I was just like I don't know if I was practicing it well, or kind of what it was, but I was just having a very hard time like changing my ways into being a healthier person, and it was causing me to miss out on a lot of like cool things that were in front of me. Uh, yeah, and that's what Seed's about.
I feel that, like
Yeah,
you
a
get you
lot of
get
words,
cut,
but
but you get kind of like wrapped up in it. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
it, like certain things you're just like, man, I don't like. Like you keep living life, right? And you're just like, man, the earth just keeps spinning.
mhm,
And I feel that, as being like, I'm gonna be turning 29 in like 40 minutes, so
Yo,
You know,
yo,
like
happy early
that.
birthday.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
but um, I wouldn't be doing anything else. But like for me, like self reflection, like you were talking about earlier, like I don't know if people do that stuff, but like I feel like I do it a lot, and like I think about some of the choices and the things that I do, right? Like, because in the end, like it does affect you, whether for good or bad, and you can choose to kind of decipher what works and what doesn't work for you, right?
Yeah.
Um, I felt like with this track, like much like listen, like I felt this kind of like blanket kind of a feeling, like I'm like I get it, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I know it sounds very like cliche, but um, it's like got this real like comforting feeling in the aspect of like I understand like the same sort of thought process
Hmm.
and vibes going along with that. And I don't feel like I never necessarily associated that with music in that way, but now that like some of the stuff that you've pointed out lyrically, like in your stuff, I'm like, I feel kind of the same way. It's a little
Yeah.
weird. It's a little strange, a little sus,
Mhm.
but like at the same time, like I think that's what's just the brilliance of music. Sometimes is like
Yeah.
you think like, man, no people, like no one thinks the same way about me, and then meanwhile, I'm like, here's this list of songs where I feel exactly
Yeah.
the same way about that
Yeah.
person.
And like this song too, I was kind of proud of because I know like a ton of people. Most of my friends are have anxiety, depression, or things like that, but, um, to some extent. But
Yeah,
I felt like I hadn't heard a lot of like musicians or lyricists talk about uh like specifically dissociation is a thing which I know like a ton of people that experience it from time to time, but like nobody really speaks about it like in music, and it's a really weird thing to do. Especially as a musician, like
yeah.
to be writing a song and then being like, yeah, I don't know, I guess I wrote it, but like not even really remembering like that you did it. So it's kind of a weird thing, like to go back to sort of what we were saying, like with uh like my belief in myself with vocals and with writing too. Like it's not even that I like feel like I'm like bad at stuff all the time either, but like I dissociate so often sometimes, like that it like I
You don't
will
realize it.
momentarily disconnect from it. You know what I mean? And it's like it's weird because I'll look into the lyrics now and I'm just like, yeah, I relate to that. Whoever did that, like that's cool. And then I'm like,
And then
oh shit, that
meanwhile,
was
like,
me.
oh, it's me. I read it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel
but
that. It's kind of like this, like where if you're like, man, that guy who wrote that track really good, and then you're like, put your glasses on, and you're like, wait, that's me. Oh, okay, cool. That's great.
oh, Mick
You could,
Tooth, huh?
I really wrote that from the heart, as they say. So no,
But yeah,
I feel that. I feel that, and I feel like people don't really like understand that at all. Like doing YouTube and stuff. I kind of feel the same way. Like I'll watch some interviews that I've done, and I'm like, oh shit, I did that. That's dope.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
not even kind of in a like a narcissistic sort of way. It's just like this was so long ago. Like I'm like I don't remember doing this, and then also
Mhm.
I'm like, man, I used to look a lot skinnier back then. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I feel
like
that.
goddamn, like goddamn, this sucks. Then that's a rabbit hole. Um, but I do appreciate the connectivity between like disassociation and like and seed itself. I feel like it was something I didn't really understand, and I think that's why I really enjoy doing these sorts of breakdowns with artists that I have on here, just because as a fan and being a music nerd as I do, um I wouldn't get this. Like I wouldn't know. Like I wouldn't know the deep complexities of some of these songs, and so um I know I already thank you for coming on, but I do appreciate it because I feel like sometimes like I'm like, man, I could really learn some more about this song, and then you like tell me you're like, man, this song's about disassociation. I'm like, oh shit, I know
Yeah,
what that's like, and
yeah,
so I feel like hopefully it shined a light for other people to check out and be like, oh man, like somebody else is writing about how I feel right now. So if
Yeah.
you're one of those people, you should comment and let me know. Not in like an ironic way, because I'm asking you to comment. Just like comment if you. Anyway, it's just all about free will. So if you want to comment, please comment. If you don't, I'm not telling you should or shouldn't. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next track before I completely dig myself a hole. This last track is called
You must reply.
"You Must Reply." We're gonna play the last track off the EP, just rounding it all out with Southpaw. We're gonna get into it in 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, that was the last track, Southpaw. I want to preface this with Nick has and Bouquet has made it onto my list of I can't watch this music video anymore because I've cried my eyes out. You're on a list of a very few amount of bands that have actually genuinely cried watching a music video, which
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to disclose. First
Hey.
one being Movement's Deadly Dull. That shit gets me rocked every time.
Yeah.
Constance by Spirit Box gets me rocked
Oh.
every time.
Yep.
You guys are on my list. Bouquet, Southpaw. If you want to get a good cry on, you watch all three of those shits. Those well, your eyes will be gone.
The
That's all I'm gonna say.
trifecta.
The trifecta. You know, there's probably more, but I would say those three right off the get. I just know for a fact if I watch the music videos right now, Waterworks gone. You know, so um, lyrically, like I really enjoyed it. I like how again, you guys kind of gave us more of a clean side with the whole glisten and seed, and then Southpaw's more, in line with like how tire swing is. Um, Dynamically, I like that just because I feel like sometimes, artists go, full bore, and they do a bunch of heavy tracks, and then they got one light track, and you're like, why the fuck would you do that? I mean, not to say that it's bad,
Yeah.
your boy loves that sort of shit, but like, um, I feel like you guys arranged it in a way that like I feel like Southpaw hits a little bit more, like
Yeah.
going from C to Southpaw, you're just like, man, this was so like nice and calming, and then you hear this shit, and you're like,
Oh yeah, the like I was
just
yeah, I was really stoked about like we did a little sound like in the studio that at the end of C that kind of has like ends really pretty and then just goes like builds up and then like the crashes just like come in
yeah,
really hard and I like yeah, that was very intentional. We wanted
the
to
energy comes back into like the space, and
mhm.
so I really dig that from not only like a musical perspective, but I also feel like from like an standpoint, because I feel like sometimes like bands don't really think about how the placements of songs really kind of make something
Absolutely.
hit. Like I feel like if Southpaw was like right after Tire Swing, it wouldn't have that much of an impact, right? Not to say that there probably wouldn't be any impact. It just I feel like would be lessened, and like having it right after C just really just like, at least from my perspective, was just like holy shit, like like
Mhm.
it just kind of, as the kids say, it hit different, so um that's how I kind of felt about this one. I think like musically, if you really enjoy Tire Sing, you're gonna enjoy this track. um Lyrically, I feel like Nick alluded to it a little bit earlier, but I'll let him delve into it some more. What was the concept behind this? I know we kind of talked about it briefly,
Yeah.
but you can go into more in depth if you'd like, Nick.
Yeah, yeah, so yeah, this song is about my grandpa who passed away in May of 2020. And this song uh, in a lot of ways is just like a like the beginning of the song is a pretty direct in the end like description of how the day I found out he died, like I was on my way to work and got a call and like sped because I was like I knew he was like he was in hospice and they took him out, so I was like this it's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was really panicked because I like everybody was already there and I literally pulled onto the street and I saw like an ambulance driving, so I thought they had already like taken him away, and I was like, oh, I don't
yeah,
even get to fucking say goodbye. And that was a really hard thing, and luckily, like like he was still there, so I gotta, I mean, literally sit there, like I kissed his head and just like held his hand for a second, like it's a it was a tough feeling because like I've only seen two people in my life like die, and
mm,
it's really weird too. Like I was kind of with anybody passing, there's like grieving is different for everybody. So
sure, yeah,
I felt a very like complex mix of emotions, and I wanted to kind of portray all of them a little bit in this song. And I was angry at myself for a while because I, my grandpa, I guess for context, was him and my grandma were both in a band like when my mom was growing up.
oh
So
nice,
he played bass taught my sister how to play bass, and like my sister was like, I thought she was the coolest person in the world when I was younger, so I played bass because of her, and she started because of my grandpa, and then things kind of developed from there as I started playing in bands and stuff. And he didn't really like music with screaming or anything like that too much, but he like was always still interested in it. And like anytime I'd go on tour or do anything, like he was the first person to ask me like how it went, and that always meant a lot to me to have somebody that like, even though it wasn't like their, like genre of choice, still like
Yeah.
showed care in it. And uh so yeah, it meant a lot. Like after he was taken away, my grandma like came over and handed me a shirt that he got because he wanted to give it to me before he got sick. Was just like this shirt he got that had like a bass on it, because that was like one thing we would talk about. And our last conversation that we had before all that happened was like about Creedence Clearwater Revival. So like a lot of stuff in here literally just direct like things like that we talked about or were about him. And I kind of wrote this song also in a way for my mom, because I take I'm bad at processing a lot of emotions. And I wanted to honor him in a way because we didn't get to have a funeral because he died during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
it was this song was my way of, like coping and honoring him. And like my mom, I know it meant a lot to her. And that's what like Cardinal's named after, is we mentioned in the beginning of the interview. But like after he died, like in our backyard all the time, there would be this cardinal that like kept coming back. And I know that's like a supposed to be symbolism. Some people believe like that's like somebody from your past like visiting you, and that
Yeah.
was specific timing, and I was like, all right, this is like, there's no, I'm not going to write about this then. So on top of it just being like, I would have written something anyway. But yeah, it's about this, and like seeing the mortality of like my family and my
Hmm.
mom. Like it just, I've been lucky in my life. I haven't had a whole lot of like family like pass away.
Yeah.
But it just kind of dawned on me, and I was like, man, like everybody, I need to be better about appreciating people while they're here, and like spend time with them and tell them, that I'm thinking of them when I do. And yeah, I just wanted to write about that.
No, I think that's quite a way to pay homage, to your grandpa. And like, I feel like having a song that's so direct, right? Like, you know, we talked about bands using more of a metaphorical stance to like talk about their, emotions or, position of their life that they've been in. And excuse me, to have a song that's so direct. And I know I jokingly said songs that I cry to. Um, I feel like in a way it's like an affectionate thing to say, like,
Yeah,
um, those songs, um, even like I feel like for my parents, like, like they don't understand the whole screaming aspect of music, but like they understand emotion, right? And so I feel like if you're an art, like if you're a person that listens to music and you listen to this, like there's just something about this type of music that just hits in a different way that like at least for me I feel the emotion of it, you know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
get the fucking shivers on my arms, like, you know what I mean? Like I I really do feel it. And so for me, like this song definitely like hit that spot of like, man, like this one will, like, like I can find some stuff parallel to my life that I'm like, it's weird how songs take you into that position of like, oh my god, like I may not have experienced the exact same thing that Nick
yeah,
experienced, but like shit, this is close, like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, and so oddly enough, like that I like, listening to this one, like as much as like I can listen to it now, like if I watch that music video I'd be crying right now. You know what I mean? So like I feel like I feel like if anything, it just really shows off just the power of like having things in a lyrical format, you know, and how it kind of impacts people and stuff. And so, um, this is a great send off to the EP,
Hmm.
and just kind of all encompasses, you know, the feelings of like, you know, um, emotions that people feel, right? And
Yeah.
so, um, I really enjoyed this one a lot. I think generally like the whole EP is just really just bop central, but um, you know, it's cool to see the journey of that. I'm excited to listen to new shit when it comes out. Just kind of, you know, again, continue the whole train of like what Bouquet is doing right now, and um, it's just real sick. So, guys, if you haven't listened to Cardinal, uh, once this VOD goes live, you know, getting all cut up because, you know, DMCA shit. But like, um, this will be going up. Please go check out Bouquet. Um, they will have merch back up soon, I'm sure. If you can, go see him at a show because I don't feel like I asked Nick, which I'll ask him now. In fact,
Yeah.
do you have? Because I know you guys have played some shows thus far. Do you have a favorite that you've played that just hits live?
Oh, like a favorite song to play live.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I mean, Glisten is always fun. Like we played that at our release show, and that one was sick because everybody was singing. So like I know there's gonna be crowd participation in that, and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's a singing song, you know. Like that one's always super fun. My personal favorite though that I actually like performing and just doing vocals for to me is Tire Swing. I
Ooh,
just like
yeah.
the energy of it, and like it just kind of picks everything up a little bit. I mean, I like playing all of the songs like a lot. Like, see, it's cool. Southpaw is like very intense. We've like essentially at all shows we've literally just played the EP like start to finish. So,
Front to back, yeah.
Southpaw is like definitely hits hard, but it's therapeutic and uh, yeah, like they're all good to play. But I've noticed like depending the crowd, Southpaw can be really cool, or like in some cases, like if people are like not paying as much attention, then it's a little like tougher because I'm like, this means a lot to me, and you're talking over it, but like that
And then you
happens.
get up in their
But
face and you're like,
yeah,
listen, stop talking about your shit. It's not
yeah,
important. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, they're all sick. But I guess Tire Swing and Glisten, top two.
there we go. Well, guys, again, go check out Bouquet. All of applicable links will be below in the description. So go give them some lovey. Tell them I sent them with like a kissy emoji. But I know John's. I love this band to death. I will go to the fucking end of the earth to promote this band. They do not pay me to say this. This is under my own volition. Um, I think Cardinal was fantastic. They were in my top favorite band unsigned bands of 2022 that I'm excited to hear new shit from and where they go further. Uh,
Sooner rather than later.
Low key hoping they get signed so I can like add another tally to my scorecard, you know, every year. Just, you know, just saying, you know, cough cough equal vision. Um you know, just throwing it out there, you know, just
Hey,
manifesting a little. But I feel like these guys definitely just not only I think instrumentally they bring the heat, but I think lyrically, like for a band that's relatively been around for a short period of time, I feel like they've garnered so much, and so um, I'm always stoked to talk about them and promote their shit. So please go get Cardinal. You can go pick it up in a physical copy, like my dumbass didn't, and I probably should buy one. But go pick up the CD. Low key waiting for them to release vinyl because I'm gonna keep asking bands to do that, even though I know like realistically, if they were to release an album, I would get it in 2030.
yeah, yeah, I was
So
just gonna say.
I'm just gonna count my chickens before they hatch on that one. Be a little sad, you know, cry a little tears, but it's okay. You know, again, if they get signed, cough cough equal vision, then you know maybe that might happen sooner. but can't
I
say
mean,
one or the other. But
excuse me.
um, yeah, I really am excited for what's to come as their band, and you should be too. And I don't want to say I hate to tell you so, but like low key, I hate to tell you so. So go check them out. If you enjoyed this content, please like, comment, subscribe. I know everybody under the face of the earth says that shit, but I swear to God, I am so fucking close to 2,000 subs. So please, for the love of God, just get me there. Like I think I am like, no joke. I'm gonna look it up. I think I'm like,
Yeah, I want to see what are we
I
at.
am not that far away, and I'm a little low key upset. I don't want to sound like I'm upset, but I am.
It's such a weird feeling when you're just on that. We were checking our listeners when we were doing some stuff like last week, and it was at like I think it was like 8,999. I was like, you fucking kidding me? Just like do one more person.
I am 30 subs away from 2,000. So
All
please,
right.
for the love of God, get me there, or be square. My rhymes are fair. I don't know what else I can use there, but anyway.
Well, are you there?
Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
bars.
Bars. But anyway, please, if you could do that, that would be my birthday wish. Even though this will be coming out a little bit beyond my birthday, but you can still participate in spirit. Um, Again, Nick, if you'd like to add anything, where they can find you, all that good shit, what you guys got coming up, what you guys got cooking, and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, listen to us wherever you listen to music. It's on, every single streaming platform. Follow us, Instagram, a band called Bouquet, Twitter, the band Bouquet, Facebook, the band Bouquet. And yeah, come check us out. We just recorded a new song last week, so that'll be out eventually. And we are working on another EP. So, we'll
Woo!
see what happens with that.
There we
But
go. That's that special. That special cooking. That's that exclusive you only get here at Audio Addiction. So finna saying that that's special shit. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you should stay subscribed. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, go check out Bouquet again. All the love in my heart for this band. So please go sub. Go honestly, go subscribe to their YouTube channel. I mean, as much as I want my 30 people there, I feel like this is a band that needs to be known out there. So go show them some love. And again, huge thanks to Nick. We missed you, Elijah, but nonetheless, we press on. So huge thanks to Nick for coming on, talking about Cardinal and all that jazz.
of course, happy to be here, dude. I always love talking to you.
All right, Nick, we did it. We're
Hell
done.
yeah.